our leaders and our staff has taken to these folks and kind of looked out for them a little bit as they get assimilated, which isn't a long time. They assimilate pretty quickly, and they're voracious for their jobs. Leaving more of a legacy than just my last program, my last status report. We determine we live here and we want to make it better here. You can't change the world, but you can change your part of it.
This is a TechVibe Pittsburgh Deep Dive, and I'm your host, Jonathan Kirsting from the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Hey, this is our third episode exploring enGen, a Highmark spinoff that focuses on improving healthcare through AI and cyber technology. One of the keys to enGen's success has been the way it embraces hiring talent from across the community. You got to keep listening to learn how enGen works with organizations like Vendor Consulting, Hiring Our Heroes, and Apprenti PGH to successfully integrate diverse talent, including neurodiverse individuals and veterans, right into their workforce. So listen now to hear CEO Mick Malec detail the absolute importance of building a diverse workforce right here in Pittsburgh to drive its future growth and innovation. Hey Mick, thanks for coming back. I knew you're going to run out and never come back again, but you came back and I really appreciate it. So glad to have you here. And really the idea of being that you guys leave no stone unturned, I feel like, when it comes to finding talent in order to just make enGen hum, to be the fast-running engine, for lack of a better term, dare I say that. And you do everything from working with places like Vendor Consulting and CAI's neurodiverse program into Hiring Our Heroes. And of course, the thing at the Tech Council we get really excited about is you guys being a foundational partner with us on our Apprenti program. And so it seems like you're finding all these ways to go into the community and make sure everybody has a chance. And I remember in our episode 1, you talked about how when you started out in tech, you got a few breaks along the way, and you find this as a way to kind of pay that back and make sure everybody has an opportunity. So thanks for hanging out and talking about this today.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Glad to be back.
So first and foremost, tell me about the importance of just building a vibrant workforce for enGen, because without the workforce, you're just not going to get anything done.
Yeah, you have to find folks that think differently than you do. And so we've done that. So the organizations you've mentioned are very serious partners of ours. Part of it, and I also feel like, as we mentioned, I got breaks along the way. And sometimes you got to look out for folks that a little less fortunate, didn't have all the breaks that some of us had. Sometimes you got to go a little deeper and find those folks that little boost.
Yeah.
We're not looking, they're not looking for sympathy. They're not looking for a handout. They're looking for a shot.
I like that. Yes.
And our job is to give them a shot. And so we've been very successful, and it's a really part of our DNA to make sure people are given the opportunity. And thus far, it's been phenomenally successful. This isn't sympathy. This isn't charity. Mm-mm. These people show up to work and work hard every day.
They're adding value to the team. They become essentially key parts of the team that they're part of.
They're like everybody else. And with so many people being remote, who knows the difference? Do your job, be engaged, be enthused, deliver, and everything else matters. It just doesn't matter. Those barriers are gone for a lot of it.
Without a
doubt.
So
we're very excited about that, and we're very excited about Apprenti. That allows us to go into communities that, once again, you wouldn't ordinarily draw from.
Exactly right.
And people have aptitude for this. They just do. So we find the people with the aptitude and the desire to learn, desire to achieve. And Apprenti's very helpful. Finding, recruiting, mentoring, training, preparing. We talked about it. There's a certain business decorum you have to have, how you dress, how you conduct yourself, how you show up to work, the fundamentals of being a business professional like IT. It's the same thing. You got to know it. So we have been very successful with that program, and we're going to continue on with it.
Absolutely.
And we just love being in the community.
And you got to have your pocket protector in the right space, or else it's just not going to work out properly.
It's like a personal slick. I don't know you that well.
Exactly right. I'm just saying, man. Just saying.
This guy, all of a sudden, he's going to start firing beanie jokes.
I might, man. You never know.
Stay home and get this.
You got to be careful around this.
What's going on around here?
Before we jump into Apprenti, let's talk about some of these folks, about some of the other folks you work with. I mentioned Vendor Consulting. one of Pittsburgh's just topmost talent places when it comes to having people who have different abilities being able to plug in. Tell us about how important that relationship is to you guys.
Well, if anybody's ever met Joyce, they know Joyce Bender is a force of nature.
Without a doubt.
She has
Hurricane Joyce, man.
Yes, and if you say no to her, you're actually saying no to an angel. So good luck on that.
Exactly
I got
right.
enough marks against me already. I'm not playing that game. It started off one day I was at work, and I had one of those poor, pitiful me days. We've all had those. Nobody loves me. I'm not appreciated. So I'm having one of those days, and I'm walking down the hall, and I see the gentleman with these hand crutches, and he's slugging his way out of his desk, and he's slugging his way to the elevator on his way down, and slugging his way down the hallway to the bus, turns around and goes, "Pretty good day today." I go, "Okay, well, I'll shut up now."
Exactly.
It's
like okay.
Dust myself a little bit with here. Maybe my day wasn't so bad.
Exactly.
I should shut my pie hole and figure out a way to do more of this. So it's one of those moments you never forget, thinking to myself, here's this gentleman, and it's a great day. He's doing all this. I'm thinking, wham, my car needs washing. Okay, really? What a loser. All right, kid, come on. And so from there, it just built on itself, you know?
Yeah.
And so she represents these people with passion, and they have been a big value to us, and we're going to continue to do that every which way from Sunday.
What type of positions are you able to fill with?
Help desk,
Yeah.
coders, developers,
Everything.
testers, project managers.
Across the board.
She brings people to us like any other partner would. There's
love
no
that.
limitations. There's none of that. There's no limitations. So once you get beyond that, on the phone, you wouldn't know one person from the next.
I love
And
it.
sometimes people lose sight of that. We haven't, and it's very important for
So
us
cool.
to do that.
I just love hearing that. That makes me so happy because I just get so excited when I hear about everyone being able to participate and just have an awesome career.
Right.
Talk about how much self-worth that gives you. I mean, I think about if I didn't have a job, I'd go crazy. And so the idea that you can give everyone the ability to do that, love it.
You got to look out for those that, once again, just need a little boost.
Very cool. So I was very surprised to see that you guys are working with Computer Aid. And I've interviewed these folks in the past, and I was so excited about what they do with their neurodiverse program, where they're able to find folks that are on the spectrum and get them into some really cool tech jobs. And I didn't know they were working with you guys. So
Yes.
tell me about that relationship too.
A lot of development is a kind of like you're writing your own story inside a program. You're writing your own code. I was a developer for a long time. And, developers are kind of like in their zone. They're writing code.
Exactly.
They have their deliverable. And programmers, by and large, don't always have a lot of interaction anyway. Their interaction is really their deliverables, the quality of their code, and moving on to the next project. So there's no limitations there. I have like ADHD through the roof. So, I can empathize. Like there's a... Matter of fact, there's a little shiny object on the floor that it just shot by that,
Yeah.
give me 5 minutes, I'm going to chase it down. So we all have our things, right? We all have our things. So these folks, once again, you wouldn't know. The quality of their work is what they speak through, and it's just perfect.
That's what it's all about. I know when I interviewed them and I heard about some of the positions where just the focus that they have and the fact that they can do
Absolutely.
some things that are repetitive, but that's their strength.
Exactly.
And being able to play to their strength, and that means it does something great for enGen.
Right.
Once again, that's someone that would probably be left on the sidelines.
Not everybody
And they're
has to
not.
be all things to all people.
Exactly.
And everybody has a role, and it's a complex environment, and there's enough room for everybody.
For sure. Now, one of the things at the Tech Council we also get excited about, it's our veterans. And that's something that's also been part of our apprentice program. But you work with the Hiring Our Heroes, which, I didn't realize, this is one of the things where I didn't realize, just me just not knowing, is that when so many of our military, when they're out, like, I just assume then like the world's their oyster, but it's not. And that blows my mind because so many folks that I know have been in the military that are now working in the tech industry, they are like, I think being in the Army, in the military, gives you that extra level of just being responsible and just precise. And I'm like, why would you not want to hire these people? And you guys do that. Tell me about it.
Same thing. They come from a very disciplined environment. And a
Yeah.
lot of them had a tough time there. Let's not kid ourselves. A lot of them were in very, very tough situations. And once again, that's a group that needs a little boost.
Right.
And there's a place for them, for sure. So they bring another dimension of the workforce to us. They are highly disciplined. They're used to specific dates and deliverables, and they fit right in for us.
Yeah, and they can do a lot of push-ups too.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
if you're just saying,
Right.
but
The
in
whole
all
camel
sincerity,
thing's a little off-putting, but we're working through it.
exactly right. But in all sincerity, like, I just find it amazing because once again, you're cutting across all these different groups of people that might be left out, and you're giving them an opportunity to work for enGen, and it's a better organization because of it. And I also know doing that work is not easy. This is not something where it's just like, hey, you snap your fingers and it happens. This takes a lot of work from your HR team,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of work from their coworkers that have to kind of integrate them in. And so, but that's part of the culture there, right?
Absolutely. I'm hoping that more organizations continue to take a look at it. Our team embraced these folks. I keep telling my team there's got to be more to our legacy than, gee, we worked hard.
Yeah,
There's
I
gotta
like
be
that. Yeah, you stepping back and realizing, yes, this works, this matters,
everybody
but
works hard.
you got to
There's
do
ditch
more.
diggers that work hard. We can work better. We can work smarter.
Yeah.
And we can. So people, our leaders and our staff has taken to these folks and kind of looked out for them a little bit as they get assimilated, which isn't a long time. They assimilate pretty quickly.
Okay.
And they're voracious for their jobs. This is, for a lot of folks, this is independence, things that we take for granted. Go to 7-Eleven, go get gas, go to the bank. Our independence is what we take for granted. Sometimes they can't because of the funding and everything else.
Right,
so this
right.
gives them a level of independence that we just assume we'll always have. And so I met a lot of these folks, and it's very emotional.
Totally.
And it's changed these people's lives. Things like I can buy my own food. It's like, holy
Yeah,
motor.
things we take for granted, and
Honest
then
to
to
God,
be able
if
to
we
provide
can't get
that
behind
opportunity.
that, then, take a look in the mirror.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Speaking of looking in the mirror, that's what the Tech Council started doing during COVID. We went out and we did some heavy looking at what was going on during COVID and some of the social unrest. And over the years, we've realized how important tech is to Pittsburgh's economy here. I mean, when you look at our recent State of the Industry numbers, I mean, we are like 26% of the workforce, but we're 33% of the wages. What we're noticing is not everyone's being brought along for that ride. And our CEO, Audrey Russo, she wanted to do something about that. And we created this apprentice program called Apprentice PGH, which basically goes out and finds people who could not access the right tech training to get a job in tech. And enGen was, I think, one of our first partners on this. And you've been our most prolific partner with a number of apprentices that you guys have taken in.
Yeah, I'm her boo.
Exactly right.
Am I not her boo? Or does she boo me? I can't. It's one of those. You're going to have to help. You have to edit that out.
I'm saying boo in a good way,
okay.
without a doubt. Because that's why, the Tech Council, we've been so appreciative of the partnership we've had with enGen in this program, because you guys have taken on, I believe, almost 18 apprentices, and this is something where you have changed 18 people's lives and added some great talent to your staff.
Yes.
Tell us about why the apprentice program was so important for enGen.
Once again, leaving more of a legacy than
Yeah.
just my last program, my last status report. We determined we live here and we want to make it better here. You can't change the world, but you can change your part of it. And so the partnership was just perfect for us. And the folks brought to us are highly engaged, highly proactive, highly enabled individuals. They add value to the workforce from another perspective. And once again, as I've said over and over again, give somebody a break. A lot of these folks were baristas and such, and man, it's hard to make a living and support your family on that. So these are careers. These enable them to, not only that, show their family there's another way to do it. So we're proud of what we're not proud of ourselves, because that would be cheesy. We're proud of the folks that have come along with us.
Absolutely. I know one of the things at the Tech Council, we got word from one of our first apprentices that they, through their job after being there for 2 years, they were almost making $100,000 a year. And this was somebody that was maybe making minimum wage, 2 years before
we
that.
Pay them, right, we pay them fair and square.
Yeah.
So none of these people we've talked about, these entities, do we reduce pay or get cute on a pay. You pay an honest wage per the industry for an honest day's work. There's no cheesy business. This isn't about that. This is about giving people the opportunity to represent themselves like everybody else.
Exactly right. Earlier on, I mentioned how everything you do, it's very intentional. You just don't happen to be working with Bender. You don't happen to be working with CAI. You're going out and you're seeking these opportunities. And same thing with Apprenti, where you worked with us and you saw this opportunity to do this. We're trying to get more companies to be like enGen and do this, because we have so many that are in the waiting list right now that want to get in. And I want you to give some advice to someone out there that maybe is thinking about this, that would want to do this, because it's not easy. Like I said, you have to be intentional. It's not like these apprentices show up and they're just ready to work. You have to really work with them and help mold them as they go through this process. What's that been like for you guys?
I would say definitely you got to give them a chance.
Yeah.
It's not as difficult as one would think. I think it was more difficult for our internal
Right.
imaginations than externally. I think that Bender and these other organizations do prepare people to enter the workforce in a pretty immediate, productive fashion. Same thing with Apprenti. There wasn't a 6-month deal to get these people ready. So I think Apprentice organizations prepare people to be productive in their jobs. I just think it's good business too. I think it's good business. So from a individual who secures talent, these folks are more loyal than your typical folks. I'm just saying it. They're more loyal.
I've heard that from many of the other Apprenti employers.
They stick with you longer.
Yes.
I think they're willing to evolve with you and work with you and learn than some others, because whole life they've not been able to just go for the ride, take advantage. They've had to work harder to get incrementally more. And I think they bring that I'll go get it attitude to the job. So no, it's not that hard to deal with them. I would gladly speak to anybody in this, whoever listens to this. Just give me a half an hour.
I love it.
It's just good business.
Oh, man.
And whatever I don't say, Joyce will show up and
she'll make you anyhow.
if you say no to her, once again, that's on you.
Yeah, you're saying no to an angel.
You better have a Bible in your hand, because you're going to need some compensating control, as they say in the compliance business. All kidding aside, I would be more than pleased to speak to anybody who is interested. We have found tremendous value. And here's another thing. Sometimes it just feels damn good to do right.
Amen to that. There's nothing wrong with that,
No.
too. So tell me about how, when an apprentice comes in, how they integrate into the team and everything like that. Is that a thing?
Almost like it's no different when you hire a contractor. You have to assimilate them.
Yeah, right.
They don't know where the restroom is, where the lunchroom is, how to log on.
Yeah.
Where's my laptop? Where do I find the code? It's not much different than that.
Okay.
It really
Great.
isn't. So
that's what I want to hear, because I don't know if people are saying, hey,
Nobody just shows up day one saying, hey, I'm ready. No, you're not ready. You're not. You don't even know where the bathroom is, slick. So it's not much different than that. So these barriers are really, they're not existent. They're just not. Now, if some folks, that with, on Joyce's team, it may take a little longer to get to work. You know what they do? They start earlier to get there. Okay, they are obsessed around time. Okay, so they're not using what they have as I can't get here. Nope, they are there on time. Nothing they have is a limitation for them. They have learned through their life to get beyond it and do your job.
That's amazing.
I get a little passionate.
Yeah, I love the passion on that, without a doubt. And so 18 folks you've had. So is there another cohort that can be starting in the near future with you guys? We're pretty excited. Okay.
Yeah, this will be an ongoing thing. As I mentioned in the prior podcast, I'm no spring chicken myself. And, people retire and move on.
Yeah.
And we want to keep a very strong base in Pittsburgh, so you have to introduce new talent. So this is a way for us to get new talent, and I love hiring the talent from the city. I'm starting to sound like a preacher, right?
A little bit, but I like it, man.
That's
this is my kind of thing.
Reverend Mick. Technology running all through me.
Oh, my goodness. Such passion. I love it. So we're moving into 2025. Obviously, you guys are just putting the gas pedal down on this. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Talk about Heimer Career Academy. That's what makes us different.
Oh,
yeah.
Integrating them through rotational.
I'll come in and ask about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just
No.
wanted to
It's all good.
differentiate.
Why don't you just get on my shoulders? You
Sorry.
can cut that out too. He'll be doing a
No,
lot
I'm
of
the
cut.
devil.
Yeah. No, my money's on that one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You're like,
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's all good. It's easy, man. This is all good. All good.
Okay, thanks, John.
Yeah. So, Mick, you got to tell me all about the Highmark Career Academy as your way of kind of putting a whole umbrella over all of this.
right. It brings people in before they're on the floor, as they say. Business etiquette, business socialization, how to show up, how to conduct yourself in meetings, how to conduct yourself with your boss, how to conduct yourself with your peers. As we talked about, a lot of these folks had jobs that didn't really require that kind of business acumen.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as it's about the technology, it's about how you show up in your environment with people who have been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, and they're accustomed to a certain amount of business etiquette.
Yeah, that's
And
so important because
right.
it's like you kind of people don't understand some of the ground rules for how business
Right.
gets done in an organization like this.
For example,
yeah,
you just can't show up with bicycle shorts. It's not the right thing to do. I mean,
well, there goes my chance. You know, I
it's
mean,
like,
but
what
you know.
were you thinking this morning? We got to talk about the bicycle shorts.
and the Crocs.
Exactly, and a tank top.
And
It's
a
like,
tank top.
Don't know what's going on, but I got to get a handle on that right now.
But in this day and age, that can actually be a thing. So people knowing what the expectations are,
Right.
and how they're going to succeed in this
Right,
environment.
because business
So
casual
simple.
doesn't mean business jammies. I mean, I have a
Exactly.
little fine line here, although leopard skins are very attractive.
Oh, so good. I love it. So the idea that you're not only going for the tech side of things, but you're then bringing them in and making sure that they know the culture, and that just ensures their success as
Right.
they go through it. Because I can
Right.
imagine there can be a lot of friction sometimes if someone doesn't know because they just don't know it.
Right.
So getting that out of the way and having an actual facilitated way of going through it sounds like a great way to get
And
people
we're
in
proud
it.
of ourselves. We have
Yeah.
a very diverse net we cast.
Mm-hmm.
And people come from a lot of different backgrounds that this is very foreign to them.
Yeah.
And, when you're in those environments, the business can be very stuffy. It can be
course.
very, buttoned down. The fact is, though, it pays better than digging ditches. So you got to take the good with the bad. So we
Less
have to make-
blisters too. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
it's-
So you got to make sure people understand that there's just a certain protocol
Yeah.
that is expected.
Well, I tell you what, this definitely creates you, as enGen being an employer, it makes you a very enviable employer out there. I feel like people, if they don't need to go through a program, are going to want to work for you because they know they're part of an organization that really just cares about people,
Yes.
right? And that's just so important in this day and age. Like, we want to know that our employer cares.
Well, for all the technology we've been talking about and articulating, it's all great technology, exciting, wonderful, laughing balloons and cake and everything. It still all comes down to human beings running it.
Right, good point.
It doesn't run itself yet.
Still need
Programs
those human
don't write-
beings.
Yeah, they don't write themselves. Well, they could write themselves, but they don't maintain themselves. The servers need care. Everything we do still has a human being component behind it, making sure things get done. Period.
That's what it's all about. And this has just been a fascinating story, being able to tell this with you. I love getting the word out about not just your technology, but your culture and the way you proactively go after trying to get everybody you can find in the community and find a way for them to plug into what enGen's doing.
Yep.
Mick, it's amazing.
We're just there. That's all I can say. We're
It's
there.
fun stuff.
It really is.
And I've had so much fun talking with you. You got me all fired up. And
Well, good.
I
You
look forward
live
to...
a very sheltered life.
I absolutely
I
do.
appreciate it. It's like,
And,
you really need to go out and talk to people. Maybe I don't.
and that's why I'm talking to you. It has improved my life. It is fantastic.
Once again, Reverend Mike coming through loud and clear. And once again, if someone is interested in learning more about any of these programs, you have my contact information. I'm not
Absolutely.
going to sell you anything. I'm not going
Right.
to go. But I will tell you this. For us, it has been tremendous good business. At the end of the day, being philanthropic is certainly wonderful. But we're all in business to stay in business. And these
Absolutely.
enterprises understand the value of doing good business.
We'll leave it at that.
You
Mick,
betcha.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
At least I'm not the worst.
Absolutely not. This is Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Tech Council, bringing you the TechVibe Deep Dive.
Okay.